know if you're allowed to smoke weed on YouTube or not, but I'm gonna do it because it's not like I monetize these videos anyways. And according to Google, in 2021, they allowed people to start monetizing videos with weed in them. So I feel like people post music videos of them smoking weed. So like, what's the worst that can really happen? Anyways, I have a message from Kenny Rogers. He said, "Son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces, knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces. For a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice." So I handed him my bottle and he drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light. And the night got deathly quiet and his face lost all expression. Said, "If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You've got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for countin' when the dealing's done." Okay? And if you look back in my YouTube video history, at one point I did post a video, and like as soon as I started recording, that song came to me psychically. And I was about to go to Starbucks and do some work, but I stopped to get some weed first because I knew I wanted to film a video for you guys. And I've just, Jesus has been closer to me than my next breath. Genuinely, that man keeps coming through me. And so I was like, let me just get a little blunt and, well, actually I got a joint. And let me just smoke this and like talk about what I've been experiencing like in the first few days of Pisces season so far. And when I go in, what song is playing but The Gambler by Kenny Rogers? And I'm talking to my besties, you know, the cute old ladies at the dispensary. And, you know, we were just like, I don't know, I was just saying, I was like, oh my god, I'm psychic. And like messages come to me like through music all the time. And the one girl, I think her name is Tabitha, she was saying like when she was like, oh my god, back when I was on Facebook, and I had to laugh because that's how I feel too. But she's like, during COVID, like Kenny Rogers died, and she was like, that's like the most like know when to hold him, know when to fold him type energy ever. And I am also in a know when to hold him, know when to fold him era, because people keep asking me, like actually I got a message on Tumblr the other day, they're like, hey, and I thought this was hilarious, first of all, they're like, hey, genuine question, like not judging. I'm like, okay. And they're like, so why wouldn't you keep your OnlyFans page up, like even if you're not maintaining it, like then it's just passive income for you? And to that I said, they know the price of everything and the value of nothing. I don't know who said that originally, but that quote has also been like crazy true for the last few months. Because, you know, for a while it was like, I didn't necessarily, like, it was just passive income for me. Like, I'm like, oh, doing this pays my gym membership. And, like, you know, I'm a attractive girl and I take a lot of great photos of myself. So, like, whatever. But then as soon as it was shown to me, like, oh, maybe, like, you know, me and the person that I really feel like I'm probably going to spend the rest of my life with kind of, you know, communicated this to me, like, hey, like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then so that caused me to take a second look, and I knew in that moment, I was like, I have to fold this. This isn't worth it to me. Like, you know, like if this is, because if I'm being honest, I have met very few men in this life who I really like commend and respect and like seek advice from, you know what I mean? And this man is one of those people to me. And so as soon as he points that out to me, I'm like, okay, folded. You know, because it's like I could still like be sitting there like sharing my sexual energy like with people. Again, even if I'm not maintaining the page, people are still leeching off my sexual energy in that way, right? And then so I could be sitting there like at the table fucking counting my cards, being like, oh, like think about how rich I can get like off of this shit. But really, like that's not the wealth that I'm looking for. Like the wealth I'm looking for is like, I want to be rich of spirit. I want to be surrounded by love. You know, and I'm not gonna get there if I am fucking giving my sexual energy away all willy-nilly. And so this person, like, after I said they know the price of the price of everything and the value of nothing, they came back to me, they're like, that's a really weird response. Like, I was just asking a question. And I'm like, are you actually getting mad right now? You are getting mad at me because I revoked your access to my pussy. That's where we're at. And then this person is like, oh my god, just so like caught up in ego, and they're just like, no, I don't get it. Like I really don't get it. And so they're in suffering because I am not giving them, because I knew when to fold them. I knew when it was over, and I was able to gracefully say goodbye to that era of my life. Like I literally I deleted the page and I haven't gone back since. and I don't regret it. Like, I literally, I don't. Like, to me, if I were to create a platform like that, it would be like, so people can have further access to my beautiful mind. Not my perchina. That's saved for my future husband to birth my future children, you know? Like, that is a sacred space now. And, like, it always has been, but I just wasn't treating it like the sacred space it deserved to be. So anyways, that is Kenny Rogers' message for us today. But Jesus Christ also has a message. Maybe they're hanging out in heaven or something. I don't know. But wouldn't that be nice? So Jesus has been coming through. He comes through especially when I have to deal with my family. Okay, first of all, let's go back to my Pisces season video. I pulled a card and it said, I will intentionally intend for 30 days. And God has been throwing a lot of weapons at me to try to keep me from prospering in this era. But I have been combating them, okay, with great strength, because the first day of Pisces season, I have a cyst on my left ovary, a 4 millimeter cyst, I think it is, and that little bitch might be only 4 millimeters, but trust me when I say she has got me fucked up. So yeah, my ovary was freaking tweaking on the first day of Pisces season, but I still, basically, like, going into it, I made a list of, like, 30 things I want to do, and I want to accomplish, like, a different thing on this list every day, you know, and then by the end of Pisces season, I'll just be, like, a more together person. I'll have intentionally intended and, like, you know, taken some action on my life. So the first day I can't even remember what I did, but I did do my, task, and the second day, yesterday, 2 days ago, I had the worst neck ache. This is something that happens to me sometimes. It's like in my upper back, I wake up with like freaking kinks in my neck. Oh my god. So it was on my right side initially. So yeah, whatever. Put on like Tiger Balm, you know, just kind of like moved slowly, like went at my own pace, but I cleaned out my whole entire dresser. And I got rid of some things and I just like organized it all. It's all laid out nicely, whatever. Yesterday's task, yesterday was just like a very weird day. But yesterday's task was cleaning off my bookshelf and organizing that, so I did do that. I haven't decided what today's task will be yet, but for now we're just here making this video, focusing on this. So anyways, the reason why yesterday was a weird day is because, so my mom works for the wealth department of a bank, and this is, like, she kind of went through, like, a career change or whatever, like, in her 50s, and so she's been studying to do, I think it's called, like, her Canadian securities or something. So basically, like, she can, like, sell bonds on the stock market or something. Like, girl, I don't really know, but go her. She's been studying really hard and whatever. And so she had a test yesterday. And these people are so fucking hardcore. They're like, no one can be in the house with you. You have to show us your tongue. You can't wear any jewelry. You can't wear socks. Like, you know, I was just like, whoa, like, financial people take themselves, like, very seriously. Like, okay, whatever. So my mom had this test, whatever, so, like, I had to get out of the house to, like, well, she was doing it, which is no problem, I go work at Starbucks all the time anyways, but, so, as I'm, like, driving, like, leaving the house or whatever, she, like, FaceTimes me, like, right before her test is about to start. She's, like, freaking out. She's like, oh my god, like, my laptop is frozen, blah, blah, blah. So I have to, like, pull over, help her figure that out, whatever. Anyways, I have no problem doing any of this, and then after the test, like, you know, my mom passes, she's really excited, and everything, but then it's like, the thing about her is, it's like, she wants to talk to you about everything that she's so excited about, which is, like, it's a beautiful trait to have, love that, but if you want to talk to her about things that you are excited about, she won't even look up from her fucking phone because she's playing Royal Match. Like, I am Anne Boleyn incarnate. I am a prophet of God, and you can't even look at me when I'm talking to you? Like, I'm sharing something that I think is so cool and so awesome and so important, and all I can get out of you is, like, a grunt while you're swiping away at your phone? So yesterday, you know, like, I did make a point to, like, ask her, you know, like, after she told me she passed the test and everything, like, she said she was so excited, like, she screamed and everything, and I thought that was awesome. She's like, I was, like, vibrating with excitement. I was like, that is pure joy. Like, that is Christ consciousness. Beautiful. I love to see it. But then I pointed out to her, like, you know, because she kept going on and on and on about it, and so it got to a point where I just, like, I ran out of things to say, because I'm like, well, you wouldn't give me half as much as I've given you if I were to come to you and talk about something. And this is how her mom is. Literally, like, this is my mom being her mom. So then I just had to, like, we use the word, like, flag at work, you know, like, if someone, like, does something, like, you just flag it to them, like, just being like, hey, like, just so you know, this could be improved upon. So I did communicate that to my mom, and she actually, like, took that to heart, and she didn't do it in a bad way, you know what I mean? Like, she didn't get all, like, sensitive and, like, oh my god, like, are you saying I'm a bad person? Like, she was like, you know what? You're right. And she's like, I think it's, like, it's when I'm high I do this. And I'm like, well, to be fair, I mean, girl, I'm fucking zooted right now, and I just gave you my full attention. So at the end of the day, it's a decision. you have to choose to be consciousness. And I explained to her that if you are not conscious, you are living in sin. That's what sin is, whenever you allow something else to take over your consciousness and, like, you know, like, live through you. Because if you're conscious, then you're just directly channeling God's source, the universe. You know what I mean? And she's like, how do you figure? Because she's one of those people that, like ancestrally, my family is very Catholic or whatever. You know, so she's one of those people that it's like, oh, I'm not going to say she says being gay is a sin, because she's not like that. But, like, you know, just, like, the things that are, like, perceived as sin in, like, society. Those are the things that she is like, sin, sin, sin. But she would never consider how, like, being unconscious is a sin. But to me, like, that is, like, the biggest sin, is when you were living unconsciously. So, anyways, whatever. Me and my mom worked through that. I was like, okay, awesome. Love that. Thank you, Jesus, for healing this. And then, my dad is, to me, like, how I believe that I'm Anne Boleyn incarnate, he's like Emperor Cusco incarnate, okay? Like, this man, he's had it kind of tough in this life, okay? Like, he's almost blind, actually. Like, my dad literally cannot drive right now. Like, the doctor has said you are not allowed to drive because you're blind, and he has to have surgery to get, like, cataracts or something out of his eyes, but also, like, he just doesn't have good eyesight, because I think when he was younger, his mom hit him in the eye with a belt. Thank you, Carmelita. Like, God bless my grandma, but what? And then also, when I was, like, a baby, he was at work one day. He used to put, like, siding and stuff on houses, and a nail popped out of the house he was working on and into his eye. So kind of like if you've ever seen, like, David Bowie's eye, like, his pupil is not a perfect circle. My dad's pupil is not. It's, like, it's leaky, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah. So obviously, I'm not in his body. I don't know what his eyesight is like, but the doctor has said it's bad enough that he's not supposed to drive legally, right? And so he's been waiting to find out, like, if he's supposed to have the surgery. And then also, like, a little over a year ago, he got injured really bad at work. So now it's, like, his finger on, I think it's, like, his left hand is, like, permanently like this. And, like, this has been, like, over a year-long process. They've done, like, probably 3 or 4 surgeries now. And on the latest surgery, they did, like, a bone graft. They took bone from his wrist and put it in his finger. And so, you know, he is seeing progress and stuff, but, like, still, like, this is taking him out of the game for a hot little minute, and, like, his eyes have only gotten worse, and, like, he refuses to go to therapy. So that has just been, like, a whole crux of, like, issues. So last night, I was, like, it was, like, 8 p.m. I was like, oh, I want to watch a movie. So I'm downstairs, I put on fucking Despicable Me, because minions are the only creatures I feel can really match my fucking energy in this life. So I'm, like, I'm trying to be all, like, happy, positive, whatever. I'm sitting on the couch working, and then my dad comes from, like, he comes from upstairs. This man goes to bed at, like, 8 p.m. every night. Like, I don't know, he's just, like, he's very low vibrational at times, and it's just because he's, like, he's going through a lot of things, but then he's being a victim about it instead of, like, taking his power back, you know what I mean? But anyways, so my dad comes downstairs, and I think after my mom had passed her test, him and my mom went to, like, the mall to get Chinese food or something, which, like, I don't eat, Chinese food hurts my fucking stomach. Whatever oil they, like, cook that in, like, it's a no for me, so I just don't eat it. But, like, my parents love Chinese food. So anyways, they go get it, and so my dad came downstairs, and he was looking for, like, I guess some leftovers that were supposed to be in the fridge, and I wasn't there for this conversation, but my mom says that my dad told her that she could eat the leftovers, right? So my mom was just diagnosed with diabetes recently, and my dad is kind of fat phobic. Not that my dad is, like, in good shape either. I mean, he's got, like, tiny little stick legs and, like, old man gut, you know what I mean? It's like, for someone who's very critical of other people's appearances, like, look at the man in the mirror. Like, I don't get that. But anyways, so Patrick, that's my dad, comes downstairs, opens the fridge, and the first thing he says, as soon as one of my parents says this, it's just like my blood runs cold, but they just say, like, fuck. I'm like, that is so ugly. Like, why, what? Like, oh, I think it's just, like, a Newfie thing. Like, I don't even know. But anyways, then my dad is like, where's my sesame chicken? Like, literally being, like, a little bitch about this. And my mom was like, you said I could eat it. And he's like, no, I didn't. You can never get enough, can you? Just, like, one of the ugliest things ever. And I'm like, this is just, like, pure Four of Pentacles energy, dude. Like, this is just coming from, like, sorry, my eye is so itchy right now. Just, like, a miserly, like, lack mindset. Like, and I'm just sitting there, and I don't even think my mom heard what he said, but I was like, that's not a very kind thing to say. You know? Like, because if he did tell my mom she could eat it, like, why are you spazzing out? Because let's go back in time, okay? Let's go back to when I was about 7 years old. One time my mom made lemon squares, which I love lemon, okay? I don't play about lemon. That's my fucking favorite dessert. I probably had one lemon square. Who eats the whole fucking container? Patrick! Patrick did, okay? And I was 7 years old, so I had a meltdown about this. I was very upset. I'm like, why are you eating my food? Why did I only get one lemon square, you know? Because, like, to me, I'm like, oh my god, my mom doesn't make these very often. These are my favorite dessert. And so I had a 7-year-old fucking temper tantrum about it, and my parents laughed and laughed and laughed about me. But my dad did the same thing last night, and it's just like he literally threw off the whole entire vibe. Like, I paused Despicable Me, and I just sat there because I was so like, what the hell? And I was like, my mom isn't really standing up for herself, which is like always irritates me. I'm like, why are you not setting a good example right now? So then my dad went out in the garage to like have a smoke, which is like he quit smoking, and then so now he starts smoking because he doesn't want to deal with his emotions. So anyways, but yeah, then he like went out in the garage, whatever, and I was sitting there with my mom, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, why is he so ugly? Like, why is his energy, like, he is very ugly of spirit right now. And then when he came in, he didn't say anything about it. He just went upstairs, goes back to bed. Miserable old Patrick. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? And then so I say to my mom, I'm like, why didn't you say anything? Like, I'm like, I'm just so confused about that. Like, why did that just happen? You know, like, why is that normal? Why do you let him treat you like that? And she's like, you know what, actually, I'm gonna go upstairs and say something now. And I'm like, okay, cool, like, I would appreciate that. And then I just sat there and I got really in my feelings because, like, I am a deeply sensitive person. So, like, if I have to sit there and witness you being negative and ugly and full of hatred to each other, and just, like, you know, you're not working on your own emotions, then you're projecting on someone else, and then, like, no one's gonna talk about anything, like, it's just, like, that's just acceptable. I'm like, that is not okay with me. And yeah, so then my mom did go upstairs and like talk to my dad about it, whatever. And then this morning, my mom, I've been asking her to wake me up in the morning because I've been trying to get up, but like I said, I keep fucking getting, like, this morning she wakes me up, and so how I said the right side of my neck was aching before, dude, I literally swear to you, I rolled over and I heard my neck crack, and I don't know what happened, but I was in so much pain. Like, I'm like, what the hell? Like, now it's like, if I try to turn it too far this way or too fast this way, it's a no from me, dog. So my mom went and got Tiger Balm and put like a 10 on my back, and yeah, it's still like, right now I'd say the pain is probably like 3 or 4 out of 10. So again, just kind of like taking it slow and moving at my own pace, but like still not giving up. But anyways, so yeah, I like started my morning, like did some work stuff. People were not listening, and this goes back to like what I was telling my mom about how I wasn't feeling very heard, and then it makes it harder for me to listen to her. Like, the state of the world is just very much like that right now. But I'm just like, both me and my boss are like frustrated because it's like we feel like we're clearly communicating ourselves, but it's just like people are not receptive to listening right now. So anyways, that's a video for another time. But okay, so I'm like, you know, my mom goes to work, and then it's just me and my dad at home, and I was just kind of like in my room, like avoiding him, because I was like, oh, after like, because when I see someone have an emotional outburst over something like that, I'm like, it makes me feel like I don't feel safe around you, because I don't know if you're gonna make me responsible for your emotions, or if you're gonna spaz out over something small, you know, like so it makes me feel unsafe. It makes me, because then I'm like, what if my vibration gets thrown off because you're fucking tweaking? It has nothing to do with me, but it's just like your energy is off, and I am very sensitive, and my parents know this, but it's like they never wanted to like accept it until recently. So anyways, my dad, I'm like getting ready, whatever. My dad knocks on my door this morning, and I'm like, what do you want? And I don't know, he'll like come in my room and try to like make small talk. And then I told him, like, straight up, this reminded me of like, there's this video of Jay-Z saying that like when Blue Ivy was little, she's like, Dad, like, I don't like the way you talked to me that time. And that is real. You have to do that with people if you want to have healthy relationships with them. So I tell my dad, I'm like, I don't like the way you talk to my mom. I don't like that. And he says, like, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, but like, I'm not the one you need to apologize for or apologize to. And like, also, like, you know, can we talk about like why that happened and just like whatever. And usually my dad, like, he used to have a really hard time listening to me, like if I ever started to express myself, and even if I got like a little bit emotional, because when I am expressing myself, I do get emotional. It's like, and I try really, really, really hard to like not like waterworks just take over. Like, I probably could just cry right now if I wanted to, but like while me and my dad are having this conversation, you know, it's like emotion is like coming through me because I'm feeling these things very deeply, and I'm explaining to him, I'm like, you know, it goes back to your childhood. Like, you have this lack mentality, so you think that there's never enough, and that's why you acted the way you did last night. But I'm like, it's just like, it hurts me to see you act that way, as if we don't have a whole fucking fridge and pantry and deep freezer full of food, and you're gonna freak out over 3 pieces of chicken, and just like, you know, it's like you're not feeling good about yourself because of all the things you're dealing with, and then so you're projecting it onto mom. You know, it's like, she was having a good day. She like passed that test that she worked really hard for, and like I was trying to like take care of myself and watch a happy, positive movie while I was doing some work. So I'm like, I don't get why things are happening this way, you know what I mean? Like, why does it have to be this way? Because even like a few months ago, like I think I did Vlogmas, and on like the first day of Vlogmas, my parents told me they were getting a divorce. And that very night my dad was back in my mom's bed, you know, and like ever since then I have seen them like make some strides in like their relationship. Like they really like playing crib together and stuff, and I love that, because like seeing people play, like I'm like, yes, okay, that is how you like, you bond and you do nice things together. But then it's just like that one little thing that my dad did, I'm like, to me it just like, it erases all that, like all that goodness, because I'm like, I told him, like, I'm like, it was very ugly of you to do that, and I don't feel that's your soul, that's your ego, you know, like when you let him take over, like that is ugly, that is not kind, it doesn't add value. So, you know, and he told me, he's like, yeah, I did feel bad about it afterwards, and like I keep, you know, like flagging to him, like I'm like, this is what therapy is for. If you go to therapy, if you make an appointment once a week and you just have a safe space to really communicate, this is what I'm going through in my personal life, and then you have a person that you can trust to give you solutions to work through it with, then you can show up in your personal relationships, and like your problems aren't a burden on your personal relationships, because those are taken care of, and then you can just be present and feel good, and you don't have to fucking bitch about the sesame chicken and be a dick, asshole, ugly loser. You know, like I'm like, don't be like Emperor Cusco, like that was your old life. Like I don't know. But yeah, so I keep bringing through Jesus more and more all the time, and I'm really grateful for him. I'm really grateful that he is so close to me, and he helps me show people the light, and helps me show people where they might be making mistakes and hurting others. And he shows this to me too, because I'm not perfect. I am not perfect, but I take accountability and I try to be better, and I live consciously. I stay conscious, okay? That is the key. That is how you work on your fucking psychic powers. That is what I've learned. The more you heal your feminine energies, the more psychic you will become. Okay? And then Jesus will maybe come to you too, or maybe you'll have your own roster of dead celebrity friends. I have fucking Jesus, I have Elvis, I have Princess Diana, I have Kurt Cobain. I have lots of dead celebrity friends. The roster is always growing. They don't really talk to me, but they just like to use you as a conduit. Like if you are receptive, if you have that, you know, if you can receive their energy, they will come to you and they will share messages with you in their own way. But you have to be willing to understand their language. They're not gonna always, like, God speaks to you in a language you will understand. But when spirits come to you, you need to be willing to sit with them and understand their language. Okay, I'm gonna end this here. I just saw 22:44. Have a good day, you guys. I hope my neck stops aching, and keep intentionally intending. Make your list of 30 things and intentionally intend for 30 days. Okay? Love you.